climate is going to change. And the change of climate is going to bring cracks. Mumataka, ojatuka watu ngolale taka. Sina Uganda yuka. Nense de sewe Asia wherever. Ojakulanga cracks. Ngoniso gambe taka. Ese yoneke ndakonachi. Kubira. Walola byeka nyumba da zitambulira wakulu taka ngalitambula kasigenda. Nge nyumba sigenda itambula. Linda mujabi etinawa. Ojakulanga bitambula. Ebitoka bitambula, bili kutaka bitambula. Obadde ovuga motoka yo ovuga motoka olwo basajja etandise okutambula you lost control. Just be vigilant. Just be vigilant.
Rescue workers in Tibet are working round the clock to search for survivors after a major earthquake killed at least 126 people. The magnitude 7.1 quake struck at around 9 a.m. local time on Tuesday. The impact was felt across the Shigatsé region of Tibet, although tremors were also felt in Nepal and parts of India. A large-scale rescue operation has been launched with survivors under additional pressure as temperatures as low as -16 degrees Celsius overnight. Chinese state media reported that around 3,000 buildings had been destroyed, leaving thousands of people without shelter. Residents are afraid to enter some buildings left standing as aftershocks continue. Well, earlier I got the latest from exiled leader of the Tibetan government, Pempa Tsering.
The only source of information is the Chinese government agencies, whatever they report. So it's very difficult to verify the number of casualties of people who have succumbed to injuries, people who are injured, how many have been taken out of those places for medical attention. So all these informations are still not very clear because we do not have direct access to information inside Tibet apart from families who are reaching out because it's very close to Nepal and many families in that region also live in Nepal. So that is also one source of information for us. But otherwise, it's very difficult to confirm. And the weather conditions, as you can imagine, the earthquake where it happened, the epicenter, Tingri and the surrounding areas of Tingel, Hase, Sakya, Nyalam, and Amrim. These are other smaller localities around that. All are at an elevation of more than 4,000 meters above sea level, which should be about 14,000, 15,000 feet above sea level, and temperatures go minus degrees around this time of the year. So people are having a lot of problem having to be relocated, and some more than 30,000 people have been relocated so far, it seems, according to government agencies of the Republic of China.
And of course, you live in exile away from Chinese rule there in Tibet. But what do you make of the Chinese government's response so far to this earthquake? Of course, I understand you have limited information at the moment.
It looks like there is the government has sent in or making good enough effort to save people's life. And a lot of local Tibetans also from the surrounding areas and also Muslim communities are also coming together to provide shelter and food for people who are surviving. So it looks like everybody is putting in their concerted effort to save people.
And of course, this is an area that is prone to earthquakes. There are other environmental challenges. What do you think the long-term considerations for this part of Tibet are going forward?
As we all know, the Tibetan plateau came out of the tectonic shift between the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate, and there is a big fault line. And the whole area is very prone to earthquakes, and it's very seismic zone. So I think this is a nature's call to warn the Chinese government about developing mega projects like what they announced last month, mega dam on the Yalung Sampo or the Brahmaputra River, which becomes Siang in India. The mega dam is supposed to produce 3 times the hydroelectricity than the Three Gorges Dam, which is the biggest in the world. So the whole area is seismic zone. If something happens to that size of a dam, what could be the severe consequences in downstream countries is for everybody to imagine.
And that was Pempat Sering, exiled leader of the Tibetan government.
The children who are in America, Europe, just about to receive fire. Never let me that is full of music. Chibuyaga, Ngaswana Kana, Osama, Akana Kalinga Emma, Ngatikali Hebe Urunji, Ngakatwara Mbako, Naraga, Nagabenya Suya, Koma, Nega Mathematics. Everyone was today. Okay, Bonge, and the Naya wins. Ambazita Tsunami.
In LA, 4 massive wildfires continue to spread in the suburbs of Los Angeles, and more fires are still popping up. The latest has broken out in the Hollywood Hills. It is burning in the area between Runyon Canyon and Wattles Park and has triggered more mandatory evacuations. More than 137,000 people have been forced to evacuate. Officials say, despite best efforts, the fires are 0% contained due to the strong winds and shortage of water. Now, for the latest, let's speak to CBS reporter Ashley Sharp. Ashley, thanks for joining us. What more can you tell us about the fires that continue to rage across Los Angeles?
Hi, Steve. Well, of those major fires that are burning here across Los Angeles, I'm covering the Eaton fire currently. We're in Altadena, California, just outside of LA. The Eaton fire is the second largest in size, but has proven the most fatal. We've reported 5 fatalities so far that the Eaton fire has been responsible for. And right now that firefight is active. A fire behind me where a structure has burned to the ground, and just up the hill from where I'm standing, dozens of fire trucks and crews are actively fighting the Eaton fire up on the hill. You'll hear off and on fire alarms that are sounding around me as well, and smoke has filled the air. What I can tell you, Steve, is the difference is the wind. What were hurricane force gusts yesterday have calmed, which is a help to those fire crews tonight.
And speaking of those fire crews, Ashley, how have they been coping? They've been on the move and fighting these fires for well over a day now.
Steve, they're exhausted. We're standing right across from a fire hydrant where those crews have been coming down the hill, filling up with water and going right back up. It's an all hands on deck situation. Crews from across the state, from Northern California, where we are very familiar with fighting wildland fire. Crews have made their way down south. So it's an all hands on deck situation. And as you can imagine, too, the emotional weight of seeing a lot of what they're seeing. You're seeing families flee their homes with their pets in their arms. You're seeing people having to watch their homes burn to the ground all across Los Angeles County. It weighs heavily on these firefighters, and they too know that they have such an important job to do in getting these very, very dangerous fires contained that right now are sitting at 0% containment.
And tell us a bit about those people that have evacuations been going. I understand there was some reluctance from some residents in Los Angeles yesterday to evacuate as they were being instructed.
The evacuation orders have continued tonight. I mean, tens of thousands of people under evacuation order, and Los Angeles's mayor warning tonight that there could be more evacuation orders coming through the night and into the morning. So if you're living in this Los Angeles area, you're glued to your phone. You're glued to information about where this fire is moving and where in turn you need to move. You asked about people who have evacuated. We showed images from CBS last night of seniors who had been evacuated from a senior center. They were sitting outside on their hospital beds in wheelchairs with only masks to help protect themselves as flames surrounded their senior center. We did get to stop by the Pasadena Convention Center earlier today where some of those seniors were taken. That's the question, right? When you evacuate people from places like this, from places like hospitals, where do you take them? Regional transit buses showed up and they got those seniors to places like the Pasadena Convention